I was expecting Coca Cabana kind of shit, or
Alexa, stop. What?
you're making me sick.
That's disgusting. So yeah, so the yeah, so the diehard Trudeau fans, like my friend's brother, they get into arguments about it all the time. Anyway, so and he's compared him to Trump, and he's like, "That's ridiculous," blah blah blah. But they do a lot of the same things. Like Trump will lie his ass off, and then say, "Well, I never said that," but there's a million videos of him saying exactly that. And then Trudeau's the same way. Well, I never said that. We got a bunch of videos saying where you're saying that, but you still continue to deny that you said that. And you're absolutely right. I think it should be considered under oath if you're
In that position.
in that position. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes no sense why you wouldn't be. I mean, you can't trust the top person, then there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like the fish rots from the head or whatever kind of thing, or whatever the fuck.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you expect anybody below him to hold a higher standard if he doesn't have to, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of politicians. Well, fucking Trudeau does it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's like, you never answer questions. Trudeau doesn't. Never fucking answers a question. Never.
No.
Hey, what about
Can't.
this? They don't want dental. It's not
Yeah.
what we were asking about, but they don't want dental.
Exactly.
It's like,
What the fuck are you talking about dental?
yeah,
We're talking about the price of milk, you cocksucker.
One
Fuck
thing
off.
I saw when they were dragging in the new Speaker of the House there in Canada, the first black speaker. Did
Yeah.
you see that? And it's
A little bit.
Pierre and Trudeau are dragging him in, and they're all.
Right, yeah. Yes.
I don't think I couldn't do that. I couldn't
No.
just fucking sit there and have this moment where we're all. No, I'd be like, no, I'm not walking in there with that motherfucker. I don't like
Yeah.
that guy. We're not fucking friends. Fuck the shit. Well, it's tradition. I don't give a fuck. It's a tradition. Is it a law? Fuck you. I'm not fucking walking in with that piece of shit. He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking traitor, and I want him dead. You said that? No. But it's just like, why would you? But then you see them, they're all, I'm like, they
Yeah, I
got
know.
shit too. You know, you're all fucking on the fucking same thing. You're playing your fucking angles, and meanwhile, the country still goes to shit, regardless of the fucking rhetoric you fucking speak. You know,
They're all
that
full of-
really pissed me off. I was like, no fucking way. You really want to tell the fucking Canadian people you don't like this fucking guy? You don't walk in there with him like that, laughing. I don't give a fuck
Yeah.
if it's the first black speaker. I don't give a fuck about that shit. You know, that guy's a fucking piece of garbage, and you should stand your fucking ground and say, I'm not participating. You know, that would have been a fucking very loud fucking statement. But no, he's like, we're having fun. Yeah, this guy I hate. He's not so bad. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just no integrity, you know? It's all smoke and mirrors. Like, everyone wants, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. They
like
do this,
Pierre a
they do
little
this
bit,
back and forth. They're trying to, I don't know. I guess the idea is like we can be civil and disagree, but in the end, you're right. They're all full of shit. Like,
yeah, just stand your ground. You can be civil. You can just say I'm not participating. I did that. There's a Marine tradition. It's called mess night, and it's just a big drunk fest, right? And all the NCOs, corporals and sergeants, and then some staff sergeants and stuff, they all get together. You're all sitting around eating meals and drinking and fucking calling people out on their bullshit and doing all this stuff. It's just a tradition that's fucking dumb. The only good thing about it, kind of honoring the fucking Marines that have died, there's like a table for the Marines, you know, that have passed. But I refuse to go because I'm that guy, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm a sergeant, and so I'm kind of I'm definitely entitled to go. I'm not obligated to go, but the gunny comes up to me, and the guy was but he and I butted heads a lot because I stood for something where they stood for orders. I stood for reason. But I always knew my orders, so no one could ever fucking really get me in trouble because I knew more than them because I learned my shit before I'd fucking start the shit. And so they're like, "You need to go to this mess night." No, I don't have to fucking go. I said, there's no order that says I have to go, no law, no Marine Corps order. Well, you're gonna go. I'm not gonna go. No. And it was insane that because I didn't believe in it, right? I was like, if you want to honor veterans, go to the fucking veterans house and fucking read them a book. Go fucking say hi. You're just gonna sit here and get drunk. What does that do for them? Does nothing. I goes, it's all bullshit. Just a way to get fucking drunk, right? So they put me in a position where I had to go. They were going to make my life so fucking miserable, and I'm like, okay, this isn't a vaccine, this isn't anything like that, it's not body autonomy, it's just a fucking night out, and it's going to be a good night. I mean, I have a lot of friends, right, and they all like me because I'm the guy who stood up for them against fucking assholes, right? So they're like, you should go, Sergeant Smith, you should go, and I'm like, no, fuck this shit. And then and then they said, if you don't go, this one gunny, and he's dead now, got killed in Iraq, and I respected him, but I still thought he's just one of the boys, right? But I called him out on all his shit, and he was way higher ranked than me, but he couldn't do anything better than me. So it's like, and he wasn't smarter than me. But he says, because I only had, I think, like 2 or 3 months left in, he goes, for the next 3 months, and they have the right to do this because when you're in the Marines, you don't have rights, right? You have orders, and they can work around it to make it a lawful order because I'll make your life a living hell for the next 3 months if you don't go. And I'm like, why is it that you wanted me to go so bad? You dig me that much? I go, because here I am saying I don't want to go and you want me to go. It makes no fucking sense. Why would you want someone who doesn't want to go to this thing? He goes, you're going to go. I said, well, you're going to have to buy me dress blues because I don't have dress blues. I don't give a fuck about dress blues. I don't I joined the Marines for my own fucking reasons, not because I'm a patriot. And so they got me the dress blues, and I went, and that was their biggest fucking mistake. Because then you can stand up and call people out on all their shit, right? Yeah. And every time you call them out, they have to pay money to this. Well, I don't know what the fuck the money goes to, but I'm like, that guy, and I call their name. I said, Corporal fucking Dum Dum here, Sergeant Dum Dum. And I just call them out on all their fucking shit. And then they're like, man, you're a fucking party pooper. I go, I told you didn't want to come here. So I just fucking made everybody, I didn't drink. I just ate my fucking food. And I said, that guy's uniform is fucked up. I'll show you this motherfucker did this. You fucking did that. 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 And they were just like, holy fuck. And they let me leave early. Because I wasn't there to fuck around. I said, this is fucking bullshit. You guys act like you're all fucking give a shit about vets, but how many fucking times you gone down to the vet house? I'm not going, but I'm not pretending I give a fuck. Yeah. I mean, I care about old people, but I don't give enough fucks about fucking the fucking wars and shit like that. I was World War II, I care about those guys. And I feel bad for the Vietnam guys because it's fucking draft. It's bullshit. But all this other shit, I don't give a fuck. It's just fucking bullshit. But yeah, you get drafted, you have no choice, right? That's fucking slavery, And so these black people want reparations. Fucking every fucking vet should get a fucking reparation then, especially the Vietnam vets. They should get fucking X amount of dollars per month, regardless if they're hurt or not, because they were fucking forced against their fucking will to do something they don't want to fucking do, But people join the military in this thing, serving my country. I'm like, how are you serving the country by killing other countries' people? How is it serving the country here? So I had this because I'm a Canadian, right? So I have a totally different mindset than 99% of the fucking Marines. So they called me commie. They call me all these fucking things. People want to fight me. It's just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to change my mind because you don't agree with it. Just like, you're fucking wrong. This fucking foreign policy for this fucking country is not right, And that's why I got out, because I was like, fuck this shit. And you have to, when you sign up, you have 8 years of obligated service. So I had 4 years of active duty, and then you still have 4 years where they can pull you back. So I got out, and within months, they pulled me back in. So then that's why I ended up in the Army. So I'm like, I'm not going back in the Marines. It's just service, so I didn't have to stay in the Marines. So I went to the Army, and then I ended up stateside at least, so I didn't have to go kill anybody and stuff like that. But and I didn't know that would happen. I just got lucky, really. But yeah, people are like, oh, have you ever killed anybody? I'm like, Oh, you would tell me if you did anyway. You know, it was like they want to meet someone who's killed somebody. That's the fucking
Yeah,
mindset in this country. It's fucking morbid. It's just ridiculous. We're such a warmongering fucking country. We can't exist without war. You know, it's just so
yeah.
sick. And now, as soon as Israel fucking did this shit, or Hamas, then they're like, all these people are posting these videos like, oh, our military, blah blah blah. You know, like, shut up.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I don't want it to happen to anybody, but America needs their ass kicked bad, bad. You know, no one's gonna fucking fly in here and start fucking doing shit because it's the biggest
yeah.
army in the world when you have civilians that are armed. But you know, we need to go somewhere and get annihilated. Um, that's the only way we're gonna fucking learn. You know, just as much how it's not about how much money you spend. You know, on the fucking we spend half of the entire world's budget on the military. Like
Yeah.
we're half of it. That's that's not a policy of peace. And actually, I'll send you a screenshot of the Department of Defense's mission, which is really to impose our will upon the rest of the world. And it's in their mission statement. So everyone
Really?
will become democratic and American share American values. And the
Right.
way they use words like values, you know, things like that. But I'll send it to you. It's
Oh,
really
well,
kind of
that's thank you. Yeah, that's a very scary thing because that's what they use. These are our corporate values, company values, and they're always bullshit. Like
yeah.
you can see that these are not the actual values, and anybody that takes them seriously is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Some people do. Some of them do, and you're like you can spot those people right away. They're fucking crazy. Like
Yeah, they're well, they're sheep, right? There's so many
yeah,
sheep here, and that's the real problem. But I was like, oh, I was telling B, I said, playing devil's advocate and looking at the WEF, like uh, Klaus and Charles, whatever Klaus Schwab, their
yeah,
agenda. And if I'm looking at it from like a big, I get it because most people are stupid. They need to be told what to do. They need to be led. The only people that really bothers are people that have the ability to comprehend, think, rationalize, be unbiased. But for the most part, people are just sheep or ants. They just follow the line. They don't think for themselves. They don't want to think for themselves. Like, you know, it's like weird on the four. I was telling Selena, I said, hey, Stanley, she's like, oh, well, nobody's heard about that. What are you talking about? I'm like, just because they haven't heard about it doesn't mean it exists. I go, a lot of people live in a cloud, especially your family. Um, which is
yeah,
true because they just watch TV all day, and it's like, why would they? They're not pursuing the information. I said, I went, and I don't normally do this, but I went on the dark web after the fucking Hamas attack, and I saw really bad things. It killed me, and then I just started bawling, and I came and I was hugging an eye, and I just because I saw like this girl. I won't get into it, but it was horrible, and you knew she was going to be killed, but she'd already been raped a bunch of times, and she had shit herself, I didn't want to see it. I didn't, but I went in there. I guess you know, I don't know. And have you ever been on the dark web?
no,
No, you
no,
can download an app. It's called Tor, Tor, Tor browser. It's actually dark web is
yeah,
a kind of a bad term for it because actually it's interesting because you can get a lot more good information from there. So, but sometimes you just see things you didn't expect to see, and but
yeah,
you're gonna get because they say like the dark web because nothing is really tracked on there, and that's why it's dark because bad shit, nefarious shit. There's no like videos, there's no like flash players, things like that. You can't, you know, because that's all tracked. But you know, you can just see a lot of unfiltered information, and so they say like an iceberg. You know, you see this top, and then underneath there's that much. It's kind of like this is the internet, and this is the dark web. So I went on there just for like a minute, and it's the Tor browser was created by the army. Um, and
hmm,
so it's not the dark web is just a term. It's not necessarily all dark. But I went for a search that, and I saw things, and I mean, within a minute, I was out of there. And but I can't unsee what I saw, right? And it was just
yeah,
videos the Hamas posted, and
yeah,
and yeah, and having a daughter made it that much worse, you know. And so immediately
Yeah.
I was like very angry, but I wasn't like anti-Palestine or anything like that. I was just angry at humans, that
Yeah.
how is this going to move your cause towards where you want to go?
Yeah.
How is that? And I didn't even see any of the baby shit, thank God. Um,
Yeah.
but I just can't. Yeah, and I just had to go give Anaya a hug, and I didn't like get into it. She's like looking at me all crazy because I'm crying, and
Yeah.
I just like and that's happening so many times over and over and over because of religion, difference of opinion, politics. It makes no borders, all these things that create division, right? And it all started in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Borders,
Yeah,
religion,
borders.
labels,
Yeah,
all that shit. Yeah.
it's horrible,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, not a
Yeah.
funny
That is fucking
podcast.
horrible. I'm glad I didn't see that. What? Sorry.
I said
It's
not a
fun.
funny podcast.
This is not funny.
It's not supposed
You
to be.
guys
It
are.
just it is what it is.
You guys aren't fucking funny. Fucking bullshit.
Well, I'll call it this. This is not a funny podcast. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
We're no experts, and this podcast, we're not funny.
it's not funny at all.
Not fucking
But
funny.
it's really crazy. Like, so Selena's like, well, where do you get your information? She goes, where do you get your news? Kind of like, because her ex-boyfriend, who she still talks to, probably still fucks, is Muslim, and I just had a feeling that he would have said, well, where does he get his news?
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, that sounds like a Muslim thing to say, because it doesn't really matter. Why don't you just go find out for yourself if I'm fucking full of shit or not, right? So I said, okay, well, I said, I get my news from no singular source. What I do is I do a search. I gather all the information. Then I decipher what I need to decipher and come to my conclusion if I'm going to come to one or not. But I said, just do a simple search, Jihad, October 13th, 2023, and then see what the results are and figure out for yourself what you feel. But I said, just because you haven't heard about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But a lot of people live like that, like, oh, I don't know, I don't fucking care. It's like,
Well, yeah, that's one way to do it. I mean, it seems like, either you get it from the TV, like a lot of people do, or you get it from the internet, and there's so many different sources on the internet. What I like to do is I go to directly to the source. I'll go to each country where this shit's happening,
yeah,
and I will infiltrate myself into all groups of people, and become one of them for months at a time. All the different groups. I live among them for months, sometimes years. I've done this my whole life. And I've been around 500 years, so I've been doing this a long time. I know pretty much everything there is to know about every group of people and all their labels on this earth. Yeah. What were we talking about?
to find out the true story. The
True story. Yeah.
Yeah. True story. Yeah.
That was a true story. I'm no expert, though.
It's important though. Like I always try to find different news sources from outside the country. That's important. Britain, not
It is
so much,
important.
but
Yeah, I did do that the other day. Sorry for interrupting. Yes.
no, but you look at reality. Who's really going to invest much time, to do that? A lot of people trust the news. Back when we were kids, I mean, the news was the real deal. It was like they just report the news. There was no agenda. It was like, this shit's happening. See you at 10 o'clock.
It all came from the same source, Reuters, which is supposed to still come a lot of it from Reuters, and that news, was what did they call it back then?
Teleprompted.
Teleprompt. Well, no, it would come off the wire, whatever.
Oh.
And
the AP
to
wire,
all news stations.
the Associated Press wire. Yeah.
No, well, kind of like that, but Reuters. Yeah, Reuters, Associated Press, same thing. it would come off the wire. And when I went to college, because I took communications media, we had like the same Reuters, Associated Press wire, I guess, coming off telling us these are the latest things that are happening all around the world. So all like newspaper places, radio stations, TV news places would get the same feed all over the world, the same shit. And and they would follow those stories. I don't know. Are they all accurate? I don't know. But now they're a hell of a lot more slanted.
And that's the thing. I think back then, I mean, it didn't seem like such a business. It just seemed like the anchors took pride. He got I will say Dan Ryan, but I'm thinking of what I really liked when I was a kid. It was the end of the night, and I think it was like, I can't remember. There was 2 news kind of programs at the end of the night in Canada before
the National
and the Forum or something with an F, I kind of think.
But, yeah.
But that's exactly what and they just kind of told you. They didn't tell you how to think about it, or they didn't really have an opinion. They just said, "Hey, check this shit out." But kind of, it was very neutral. It appeared neutral as a child. Maybe it wasn't.
And even in like 1990 or 91, when I took the journalism course, that's what they taught you, is like you're supposed to be impartial.
Yeah.
That went to hell pretty quickly after that. I don't think there's any impartiality anymore in any sort of news.
As soon as 24-hour news started, that was out the door, because it became a business. You need viewers, and viewers aren't really they're about sensational fucking shit. They want to be entertained now. Now, this is not a news network anymore. It's an entertainment network. Yeah. And we have to get people watching. We need those numbers. We need numbers. CBC didn't need numbers back then, because they just had your attention regardless, right? So it wasn't about numbers. It was just like, hey, here's this. You just watch All in the Family. Now, hey, we got a fucking bombing in Bosnia. It was like, but and they'd always laugh. No, it's the Canadian way.
They love that shit,
man. Sucks to be them. Woo. That's the news. Oh yeah, Gretzky scored 3 goals tonight. Woohoo!
Yeah.
But it was like it was just information. And it really did seem, but I mean, kids are stupid too. I was a stupid kid, because all kids are stupid. They don't know yet. So maybe it was more, but I definitely not slanted like you say, like now. It's just there's an agenda. This station is this way. This station is this way. Like Selena's a Fox person, right? I would never get my news from Fox. I think she's kind of hardcore Republican. So it's not like she was like, but I think her boyfriend was like, well, where's he get his news from? Like, who gives a fuck? I mean, he called me worrying about his fucking daughter. And you're going to say, well, no, he's just saying, hey, can you stay away from crowded areas today? One fucking day, I'm not saying don't go out. I said, don't live in fear. I said, she goes, well, I'm going to go get my nails done. And I'm going to leave an eye at home. Is that okay? I said, yeah, it's by all means, it's okay. I said, but anywhere you go all the time, you should always be aware of the door. Who's coming in, who's going out. That's it. Yep. It's like, so forget about October the 13th. Just do that. But yeah, I have no problem with you leaving an eye at home. No one's going to come to your house fucking door to door trying to kill Americans. I mean, that's a suicide mission. You might get to one door and then your fucking mission's over, So, I mean, I mean, there's a part of me that really wants to kill somebody that wants to hurt me. I don't really want to kill somebody for no reason, but I have, like I told B, I said, I have no problem taking someone's life. It doesn't faze me at all if the people I love are in danger. Friends, family, or if something was happening in the community, I'd fucking go out and take care of business if I could, It's not that it's not scary, but I've always been the run to the fight kind of guy, which hasn't always been good for me, because it's like the fight or flight. But I remember, like, whenever I got in trouble with the police, I never ran from them. I just faced the music. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, let's deal with this then. Whatever. I know I've done shit, but I'm not a runner away from things. I just kind of go towards the problem or whatever. So, but
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
me.
Right.
I think I got to go get dinner with B now. So,
Okay.
I'm just gonna post this unfiltered.
Okay.
So I've been recording. The only thing that I had interfered is when she texted me, but I'm just gonna leave that because it just says, "You want to go for a ride in the convertible?" She bought a convertible, so
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It was
That's great.
actually I had the same car when we met, um, and then I shouldn't have had it. Like it was stupid. I got this like check in the mail from Capital One Bank. It was for $30,000 to go buy a car, and I have horrible credit, and there's no reason for me to buy a car. But I'm like, you want to? Okay, I'm just gonna go entertain the idea. And there was this convertible, really nice Q60. My car was actually 2 years newer than hers. Mine was a 14 back in 18, and
Yeah.
hers or 17, and hers is a 2012. But they're exactly the same car. And
Yeah.
so I, I when I went there, I was just like, well, I'm not putting any money down. And they're like, okay, and they gave me a good deal, and I walked out with a car convertible, and I just pictured me and Anaya driving down the coast because I didn't know B at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so I had the car, couldn't afford it at all. It
Yeah.
was like
I've done that.
$600 a month and $400 for insurance, so $1,000 a month just to start. Then and it's horrible on gas. So I think I was spending close to like, I don't know, $1,800 a month on that
You're
car.
paying, wait a minute, $400 a month on insurance? Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. On this
That's fun.
particular, well, this car is it's a hardtop convertible, so I don't know if that was part of the thing. Because my other car, my RX-8, I paid $89 a month, and I had a $50 deductible.
Yeah.
So,
Right. See, and I got a Challenger for, well, the worst deal ever. There was another loan involved too, and some other stuff. So I ended up. I mean, my total bill was like 12 or $1,300 a month for the
just for
car
the
payment.
payment? Oh
Yeah.
shit, yeah,
The insurance was only 130 a month.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's
And the thing is,
expensive.
it's a little different there because it's like, isn't it BC, like the government insurance there?
ICBC, they're the
Yeah.
fucking worst. Worst.
Well, obviously not as bad as down here.
No,
So
if you're paying 400 a month, that's fucked.
yeah, it was
That's
really at the time, like I said, but it was that car. It was because it was a sports car, big engine. I mean, it's a super powerful car. Probably not as powerful as
yeah,
a
but so
Challenger
is
though.
this. So that
But
doesn't make
for
any
here, I mean,
sense.
because my RX-8, no, it's only a 1.3 liter engine, but it was a
Yeah.
rotary engine, and so it actually I had to the ground almost 300 horsepower when I did all my mods. I put
Yeah.
I put a bunch of
Nice.
stuff in it. Yeah, it was a fun car. It was really I I sold it because we were having an eye, and Selena convinced me to sell that because she had a Jeep, and it was a better car for a car seat. But I honestly it wasn't a better car because the Jeep is horrible in Phoenix in the summer. A ragtop, it's fucking horrible. You have to be
Yeah.
like this close to the AC in the summer. We'd be waiting for her son for school, and we'd both be fucking just our faces in the vent. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was just I should have. And my car was like I only had like 6 months to pay it off, and she had just got this car, but she had actually got her husband or ex-husband to get it for her, and it was just
Yeah.
anyway. But I should have just kept that fucking car. But yeah, this car was super expensive. So after like I think like 6 months,
Yeah.
I stopped paying after like three. I was like, fuck this shit. It's stupid. And I don't really give a fuck about banks. I don't fucking care. And I really don't care about my credit because I don't use credit much. They just wanted to get, they're still sending me shit for cars and stuff. I'm like, these guys don't fucking learn. They don't care because they
No,
have
they don't.
insurance. They have insurance, and then
Yeah.
they send it to a debt collector and they sell all this shit. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about debt collector. I've already passed the statute of limitations for everything, so it doesn't matter. But I just called them up. I said, hey, come get your car. Like, well, you need to bring it to us. I said, no, I don't. I'll tell you where it is. And that's where it is. If you want it,
Yeah.
you come get it. Well, you need to bring it to us. Nope. I told you where it is. Goodbye. And that was it. And they came and picked it up.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to fucking do it, right? They want to get
Yeah.
you in there and give you a fucking problem and all this shit. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
So like for 4 years, I was getting hounded, but I know the laws. And it's you made an arrangement. You lost on this one. You know, you don't win them
Yeah.
all. And that's the car is the collateral. So guess what? I don't fucking owe you a fucking thing. I gave you back your collateral. They're like, well, we're coming back. They wanted like, I'm not giving you $16,000 for a car I don't have because it was like a $30,000 car when I got it, and then they rated it. And well, one of the reasons though, there's two reasons I gave it back. Well, three finances, but one day there was like this horrible windstorm here. We're getting a haboob or whatever like that shit. And I gets out of the car when I'm getting gas, and I told her not to. Like, well, I didn't tell her not to, but I was like, why would she get? She never gets out of the car. But it was so windy, she thought, oh, this is interesting. God, the wind just took the car and smashed it into a concrete pillar, fucking dented the door real bad. And I was like,
Wow.
and I screamed so loud at the gas station because I was filling up for gas, and then I saw the car crack, and I'm like, no, just fucking, and just went boom, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, probably the first time I yelled at her.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? I'm like, and that's what I tell people, be aware of your surroundings. There's a fucking pole there. Door can open. Think. But she was young, right? But I'm just like, fuck that. Fucked up the door so bad. And then I accidentally left something in the trunk. And so when it closes, it does the roof off. And then, so it pushed down, and whatever was in there, it was actually just the windscreen for the back of you put it in the back seat, and it kind of stops the wind from hitting your hair, but it caused two huge dents in the roof.
Wow.
So I was like, so the aesthetics in the car just pissed me off. So then that was that sealed the deal when she opened the door. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, get it. And I couldn't believe, I'm like, because I'm just like, no, fuck, I don't give a fuck about banks. I mean, you think I care? My pride is not injured at all by giving you back this car. And actually, it hit my score, but I'm like, I don't need anything. I don't need credit. I live off cash. So it's like I haven't had a credit card. Well, since before then, some idiot gave me a credit card, and I racked it up, and I fucking said, oh, fuck you. I mean, it's not really that good, but it's like, I have a thing against banks after working in mortgages. Because they fuck over people so much. So I really don't give a fuck about banks. They want to give me a card, I'm going to use it, and I'm going to fucking get rid of it. I'm not going to pay you back. So don't give me a card. Don't be stupid. Look at my history. I don't fucking pay cards back. You're dumb. You're dumb. But they really, like, they rip off people so much, and they charge you to use your own money. Someone going to have a $200,000 fucking deposit, go get a loan, and they're actually borrowing their own fucking money.
Yeah.
They're paying interest on their own money, right? Not everybody has $200,000 in the bank, but for the most part, you're borrowing money from other people, not from the bank. The bank takes deposits, loans out 10 times more than they have on deposit. You know how fractional lending works here? Are you familiar? I don't know how it works in Canada, but here, if you deposit $1,000, the bank has a legal right to lend out $10,000. Tenfold of what their deposits take in. It's called fractional lending. So that's why in the 30s, after the stock market crash, they said nobody can come in, and without warning, you have to give the bank notice to take out more than $10,000 at once, because they don't have to hold that. But yet, if you had $1 million in deposit, you can't go get your $1 million because they don't actually fucking have it because they've lent it out. So they're so corrupt. And when I learned all of this shit, there's a really interesting book. It's like this fucking thick called The Creature from Jekyll Island. And it talks about the central bank and all that shit. It's a very interesting read. And when I was doing more, I just like, fuck, I don't give a fuck about banks. They don't give a fuck about people, and these are just.
I've noticed that. And and they used to, I also noticed when I was younger, they didn't used to charge you for keeping your money in their bank.
Yeah.
But they sure fucking do now. They'll take your money any way they can. They charge you for your account.
There's a poor tax
per transaction. They charge you all kinds of shit.
You pay the poor tax when you're banking, especially in Canada. If you don't have enough money in the bank, because they can't lend it out, right? If you don't have enough,
well, they do that in the States too.
They want minimum balances. They want fucking.
It's similar with Canada and the States because I've now experienced that. You got to have a certain amount in the bank if you don't want to be charged a monthly amount. So again, yeah, poor tax. The poor people always get charged more, which makes total sense.
And it's NSF fees. You know,
Yeah,
okay, so I don't write
NSF fees.
checks.
Yeah, charge the poor people more. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't write
Yeah.
I don't write checks, so I don't have to worry about that. But yet, if I'm trying to put something through on my card, maybe I'm right close to the limit, they let it go. Well, don't let it go. If there's no money there, don't fucking let it go. Just say no, denied. But they let it go, and then they fucking, oh yeah, I got to charge you $35 because we took care of your fucking purchase that you couldn't afford. I'm like, no, you could have just said no, slap my hand, say you don't have enough money, bitch. But you don't do that. You say, okay, we'll take care of it, but we're gonna. Man, I gotta go now. These fucking guys next door are smoking. They're moving, and man, they just
Ah,
smoke non fucking stop. And you can't even go outside right now. It's fucking sick. And I hope they fucking
weed
hear me.
or cigarettes?
Cigarettes and weed. I mean, I don't mind
Yeah.
weed once in a while because I smoke it myself, but I mean, it is from the morning till the fucking night these motherfuckers are smoking. It's so disgusting. So, anyway, but
Wow.
I know Bee's hungry, so I gotta go take care of
All
her.
right.
But
All right. Cool.
yeah, so I'll post this and then I'll give you the link.
All right. Cool.
2 hours
Fun.
and 8 minutes. That's a good podcast. Great to have
Yeah.
you on the show today, Jim.
Great to
Talk to
have you,
myself.
Jim. Great to have you, Martin. And hey, you guys, come back again. You guys don't know shit.
And then we'll have their intro and the outro music. Da, 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 da.